sitting around the table like this and not being concerned about social distancing, not being concerned about it's just great to be part of our board community again in this sort of forum, so fantastic. So that's awesome. So are there any apologies? No apologies? Public forum. Carolyn, would you like to come forward and present?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Well, hello everybody. I'm Carolyn. I'm here on behalf of the Thames Heritage Network. As you know, we received our poster, so you know that we're all up and running again. And just as an update, the trains will start this weekend, weather and track permitting as well. And the Treasury hasn't opened yet on Fridays, but it's opening on all its other days. So the reason I'm here is to talk about signage and notice boards. As you know, in March we had the Heritage Festival weekend, and something that we realised then was that when we were all gathered together and doing something, our putting all our posters up together, we had 9 events, so we had 9 A4 posters and then a big one, and it's really hard to find a space to put them all together. This is down there in on the corner of Collins Street and Grahamstown. Here they are all together, and this is taking up a space that's about like that, just over 1.50 metre by about that. And so what we would like, if possible, is for the community board to help us to locate a site where we could have a heritage activities notice board specifically for heritage activities. And we've thought that just down here on the corner of Collins Street and Mary Street, where the little car park is by the bank, that would be a place where there's a lot of traffic, foot traffic, and maybe it would be an ideal place to have a notice board just for heritage activities, because there's so much going on. You know, there are gigs going on and other activities, and posters. When you want to put 9 or 10 posters all together, it's really hard to find the space for it.
The idea, the concept's good.
So if we could have just some ideas or some help with where there's maybe a council wall that we could use, or how we would go about getting permission to put something up, that would be really a big help. And the other thing is this, which you saw last time. We've been thinking that it would be really good to have this enlarged, and a place that we thought would be good for it would be down there where the camper vans gather at Danby Field, and up by the end of where the band hall is. And so that not only for the camper vans, but there's quite a lot of foot traffic there, because there's also the public parking area and the people coming from the retirement village and so on. And it would be a good place to have this in a much bigger format, both sides, so just promote the activities in the town.
Do you, Karen, is that your presentation? Is that
yes.
As much as you want to do? And thanks for this. I think that's awesome, the way you put this together.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a combined effort. Everybody, like we had our network meeting and everybody agreed to do it. Yeah.
So the board might wish us just raise some points of clarification.
Well, can I?
Yes.
Do you have a website that you all contribute to that so somebody went here, hey, Heritage is up in Thames, they would get to see that online in one spot?
We have a Facebook page, don't we? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question too. I like the Heritage Board, and I've often looked at the wall next to Sterling Sports, and just in my own mind thought that would be a great place for a notice board. Would you be open to having community notice board one side, dedicated heritage space on another, if I was the Queen of the World and could make that happen?
Sure. I think so. Yes.
Yes.
I've got my support crew over here.
Because there was a thing that was thought about on that site by the ANZ, where they could have sculptures, interchanging sculptures on this platform, the ANZ site. So, it's part of the
Oh, so that we can make
sculpture
it,
and arts group. And so that might blend well with being able to provide a heritage sign as well. I don't know what traction that's had, but it's just thought,
right, so to make it a destination in itself.
Yeah.
That would be good, yeah.
Just to give that some thought.
So we're talking about two different things, because we're talking about a notice board where we can put up when we're either having individual events or a combined event. And then this one, which we thought would be a good thing at the moment, especially now, but going ahead as well, to target the camper vans. And so we thought about the various places where they park and decided that Danby Field would be maybe a good place to start in the car park there, because it would be a combination of camper vans and Thames people.
Understand that. Yeah, that's good.
Yes, yeah. Rose Park as well, if we were doing signage for the camper vans.
Yeah, because, the key thing is to recognise that if people are coming to any of the heritage attractions, obviously there's spin-off all around with cafes and shops and restaurants and things. So the more promotion we can get, the better it is for everybody.
I definitely Carolyn.
And then I was the one at the Civic Centre.
The trouble with that is that it just gets so crowded.
Yeah, so much stuff.
Because of all the gigs that are going on and all the other things, like Wings and Wheels or Steampunk or the back room at the Lotus Realm, all those places are having activities. And so for the heritage sector, if we're doing something all together, we need a space that's like this, because this is a metre 70 across here and about a metre down that way.
Yes.
Just put up in this haphazard way. Of course, if by any chance we manage to get them put up in an orderly fashion, they take up less space, but that doesn't usually happen.
So to bring your concepts forward, if you've got a copy of those for Erin and Ariana and they, just,
I can leave these. Shall I leave these?
And whether, they'll get hold of you probably just to get the reports for that size and things like that. We might be able to develop something.
That'll be great. Yeah, I didn't put my email address on this, but Ariana, you will. Yes, thank you. And shall I leave you the updated version of this?
Yeah.
It's really just bringing up to date about the trains, but there we are. All right then, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Really
you.
good.
Thank you very much.
Before Carolyn goes, Carolyn.
Oh, another question?
No more questions? No. Okay, no, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to ask Deborah and Anne for the presentation. I understand I have to do this in public forum, but there's been some power of work going to the strategic plan, and it is a pretty good one. And so I'd like the opportunity to present the report for some time. So, happy you did that.
Thanks very much, Strat. Before I start, I'd like to introduce you to Sue Lewis O'Halloran, who is the CEO for the TBA now. So she has replaced Rachel, who resigned at the end of last year and left in early January. Sue started in April during lockdown, so she's hit the ground running. There's been a lot going on, obviously. Sue comes to us with very good background or very strong background in not-for-profit organisations. So she has excellent fundraising skills, relationship building skills, networking, and just understanding governance, some marketing, very big experience. So we're working together pretty well at the moment, I think, and we've been working pretty hard on getting the submission ready for you.
You're welcome, Sue. Nice to see you here.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Martin, Cheryl, Shirley, Ariana, Michael at the back, Strat, Aaron, Sally, Robin, Peter. Yes. Really excited to hear about the Heritage Network, because that's in our work plan, so that's wonderful. Thank you very much for A, inviting us today to speak for a brief period, and B, for allowing us to resubmit due to COVID, which has really changed everything. We're here to answer questions. Shush. We're here to answer questions about our presentation to you today. I'm assuming you've seen it, and particularly to talk to the budget if you have questions about that as well. We're really proud of Thames, and we think it's going to be very much the linchpin to the economic recovery of the Coromandel. With a $500 million economy before COVID coming into Thames, it's really important that we work hard and fast to make sure we can keep that functioning and, as I say, move from survive to thrive. So that's really all I want to say. We are working on a project. We've already started to meet with Rob and the economic development team, and we have a project that we have anecdotally named Small Steps, Big Outcomes, because we know there's not $20 million to spend on the revitalization of Thames right now. So we have other plans that we think we can improve the streetscape, the business community. We're getting new members almost every day. So we're quite excited. And it's, to us, it's an opportunity. It's a fairly uncertain time, but we also believe that this period is a real opportunity to position the Thames Business Association as a very important partner to our businesses here in Thames, commercial and retail. Thank you. Questions?
So you'd like to take the registered, take the report?
I didn't hear you.
Okay, so we are assuming that you have read the submission.
Yes.
We're not going to represent it back to you because I'm sure that you have read it.
Yep.
So I guess one of the things that just, I mean, it's been reworked post-COVID to try and address what's happening now. I think it's pretty ambitious, and we're aiming high. That's what I want to say. We don't want to be just same old, same old. We want to really aim high and really kickstart things again. So it's not about, the revitalisation of Thames through big major infrastructure. It's about doing stuff to get the business community really lifted to the next level. So I think what it's going to have to take is a really good coordinated effort. And as Sue talked about, we're already starting a project with, we've been talking to Rob, we've talked to economic development, but it's really about having that, I think, leadership group that can work together. And I think that we've been talking to Destination Coromandel, but I think TCDC, economic development, Destination Coromandel and us really are key players in this. If we want to take the economy, we want to get it up to where we were and further forward, we've got to be able to work together. We need to understand each other's plans. We need to be creating plans that actually complement each other. So I'm looking forward to working in that group if we can get it going. We have a really engaged board at the moment, I say, with some really good skills on board, and they are stepping up much more than the past, I would say, in terms of offering their time and their skill and expertise to first develop this resubmission and also to take things forward. Now, any questions to the submission? Sheree?
So in your submission, you say the membership grew from 211 to 251. So how many businesses are there in Thames?
Well, that's the question. It depends how you look at it. I mean, if we know how many when we send out letters to the commercial property owners, it's 300 letters that go out. But within each of those properties, there are many businesses in some instances. There's also people working from home who register businesses and have their residential address. So we don't have a firm figure. We can't tell you that, but we're aiming to get, I think in this plan, we've said we'd like to get 400 on board soon. As Sue said, we've had people in lockdown and post-lockdown coming to us and wanting to join. So we're optimistic to keep growing this.
So when you talk about joining, are you charging membership?
No, we aren't currently, but we will have to in order to grow our revenues and have a diversified revenue stream. And that is actually being member driven. Yes. People keep saying, what's your membership fee? What are you charging? So we will be presenting that at the AGM at the end of July. and it'll be a very important part of our revenue.
Yeah.
And we expect, we may do different tiers, and we may look for the banks, for instance, to be sponsors versus just members at one level. So we'll work with the membership to determine what's the best thing to do. We have to collaborate with them. We can't just impose the fee on them. They have to vote for it.
Yes.
So that is
So
our
that's on the
intention.
agenda for the April.
I noticed it in your budget that you forecast 550,000 as a membership fee. So
Yes, so that would be based, Cherie, on 250 members paying $200 each. However, we know some won't, and some will pay more because they'll go into the sponsorship level. So we don't know yet what this looks like. I've only been in the job 6 weeks, I think it is now. But it's really exciting to have the membership excited about what the TBA is doing and some of our plans, and we look forward to sharing them with you in the future.
I'm finding it hard to ask a question when I want to make a comment. But
I think you can do that during this book.
that's what feels exciting to me. You know, in this room, yesterday we had the Deputy Prime Minister here and
Yes, I saw that.
PGF funding for the wharf at Te Kuma. And what I enjoyed was the complexity of and the different sorts of people that were in the room. Strong focus on iwi
Yes,
and their involvement in aquaculture, as
Yes.
well as
Yes.
their partnership with us,
Yes.
and business people, et cetera, government, us. And so I think I get excited when you talk about that collaboration, and and when you're setting the fee, I think that, I don't want to sound like David Seymour, but people, I think professionalism comes with the cost, and I think that whole affordability issue is really important for us, and there will be people that are really struggling, and there'll be other people that are doing okay.
Yes.
And I think for us, representing the average ratepayer, to see that involvement gives us much more confidence to support as well.
thank you
So,
very much.
Real emphasis on that, and all the support in the world to sell that idea of it's worth being a member and it's worth paying for the professionalism and the outcomes.
Thank you very much.
It's excellent, thank you.
So, would it be fair, just to try to put you on the spot, within the budget there, are there particular projects that are, die in the ditch type projects?
You mean if we don't do them, we're in trouble?
Or no, more sort of like, what ones do you feel are absolutely necessary and what ones might be negotiable?
Well, no, you're not putting us on the spot. It's just there are a lot of line items here in the budget. So I would have to.
I mean, just for example, just seeing the Thames lighting project there at 30K.
Yes.
And I'm just sort of also trying to get my head around the sort of crossover between TBA and council as far as, those.
Who's meant to do what
Those
is
sort of
really.
physical projects.
I think what I can say to that, Martin, probably we would park that until we got dedicated funding for it. So that would be one thing off the budget, but we do need to get it done, and whether it's done collaboratively with council, with TCB, or another organization or funding body, that's one thing we could probably defer to next year. We have a very robust fundraising program, and our need to grow our income is quite significant. And I'm well aware that we have, that it's a big ask, and I'm well aware of the responsibility of raising that kind of money. And that's why we're also applying for charitable status.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
So we're doing everything we can, and we just need to have some good partners to work with us and support us.
Can I add to that, just to say that our plans for 2021, right at the top of the list, we have our objective is to encourage maximum investment spend in the Thames ward, and the actions around that are not infrastructure. They are activities to improve, our service level in town, to encourage, people to come to town and spend, your motorhome owners coming through Thames. We know that this is a top spot. So it's all those things, the support local campaign. All of those things require people to get out and beat the street, and we need really strong marketing. We need some really good skills, and we've got some really good skills, but we need to add to that. We want a really good kind of business unit to run this organisation, and that's why, and we don't want to do it pie and piecemeal. That's what we've been doing in the past, and we're getting there. Rachel did an amazing job to get us established. I'm not trying to downplay what she did. We want to get this to the next level now for Thames and the district.
I don't want to preempt anything because we're meeting with Aaron and Rob on Monday, but we have named our new project to replace the $20 million that was supposed to be spent on the revitalization. We call it Small Steps, Big Outcomes. And it involves working with, so I'm not going to tell you too much because I'd like Rob and Aaron to hear about it first, but it involves working very closely with the commercial property owners and the tenants, and working with the other property owners and tenants as the champions and the stars to help us convince these people to do things rather than us issuing a directive. I don't think it's appropriate for the TBA to tell people how to do things, but I think it is quite appropriate for the existing tenants and commercial property owners to do the peer-to-peer ask and pressure thing. And I think that may be our best, and it's the cheapest way to do it, frankly. So, does that help?
Yeah, and
that was one of them.
And I'm reassured by within your objectives, actions, outcomes, about seeing a lot of things in there, like Sally was saying about collaboration and
very much so.
Network and that kind of thing, because I see that as quite key.
Well, we're much stronger if we all work together.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Are we finished?
No, just.
Cheryl.
Just yes. Given that the treaty settlements will be finalised, hopefully in the not too distant future, what collaboration have you thought about with Ngāti Māori, because they're going to be a very big economic player?
We've been discussing about the redevelopment of the wharf because we understand that that is something that may be of interest to them, but we don't. Sherry doesn't look convinced.
No, it's okay.
I don't personally know enough about it yet, but we have touched upon it. And so I would expect that we would meet with iwi at an appropriate time and talk about collaborating. That would be my intention, our intention.
Yep, absolutely.
So any further questions?
So I recognise TPA's aspirations, but in terms of the time past, 18 months, what have you achieved that speaks to maintaining the Thames ratepayers? No. So your submission is to request for further funding. So, yeah, what is it that you've achieved that speaks to them that says the money that we're giving you from the Thames ratepayers is good?
Worth it, based on what we've achieved so far.
In terms of, there'll be other organisations that would love to get their hands on some money as well. Okay. So, yeah.
All right. I mean, if we are...
Those are outcomes, right?
Yeah, we have got a summary of what we have done at the beginning of that submission. I was thinking about this morning, though. I have been thinking about this because I believe, our byline, I guess, is better business, stronger community. Okay, so we had a discussion some time back with Colleen Litchfield when she worked here and was Economic Development Officer. And she had a big discussion with a lot of business people about what it meant if we had economic development, and everybody came up with the same answer: it's community development. So that's the first thing. We need strong business. what we've achieved to date in 18 months, I guess, is the establishment of the association. We're here. We've got 250 members. We have achieved a few little things tweaked in this, you know, in our outcomes. So we've managed to gain some ground, I guess, in terms of events. We gained some ground with having the balloons over Waikato, the centre parade, that sort of thing. These are little quite visual things for the community, but actually to get to the next level now and actually get our businesses working to a higher level, being more productive, having better shop fronts, that's the next step, and that's what we need to get continued funding for, to be able to push programs to be able to make that happen.
And just to add, Cherie, in the first 6 months, on page 3 of the funding submission, you'll note that our revenue started to diversify. So we started to get corporate sponsors, and although the members' donations went down, which would be normal in a second year, it's still a foundational period, I would expect. And Rob talked about this in our first meeting. You know, this is really hard work. And I am very grateful that Rachel did as much as she did, because it's not a job I would have wanted, frankly, but yeah, I'm going to hopefully pick up and run with what she's done.
Yeah, I think the networks are there. There's the foundation is there. Bearing in mind as well that there was 2 boards. So there was a first board and then a almost completely new board apart from myself and Mary Thompson. Challenging, extremely challenging for a manager to have to then kind of get a new board thinking, and for me actually for the board to understand everything that happened and then pick up and move forward. So that was quite challenging.
So we're putting a succession plan for the board. So it's not all rolling off at the same time.
Yeah.
And proper inductions, and also a succession plan in place for me. So that there's no loss of momentum, which has probably happened in the first 3 months of this year. And Heather's been keeping the doors open, but I think we need to.
Yeah.
I guess
I'm trying to think how to put that in a better word.
When you're out there and someone says, oh, you know, TBA, the funding, what's that about? So, you know, you've got to be able to answer it. And the best way to answer it is you to tell me what you think.
We need to.
I get it. I do understand.
Yeah,
I do know
I understand what you're
I feel that I think you've had it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that just the fact that I'm getting people coming up to me in the street now saying, oh, what's, you know, TBA, and emails coming and, you know, you need to go and talk to this person, you need to do that. People recognise us, they recognise that there is an association. I don't know if you saw the Support Local campaign that we did over Facebook during lockdown, you know, and I think that really raised our profile at that stage. And I will say that we employed a marketing person to do that for us.
You should correct that. She employed out of her own pocket a marketing person.
Well, I just thought that we needed to have that, we needed that presence, and we had no manager, so we needed to make it, we needed that presence during that time. And I think that she did an excellent job, the woman who did the marketing, and that's the kind of level that I want to get to for the association across the board in everything that we do. We need to upgrade our website. Last time you asked me about that website, it crashed. We took it over from the community board, or from TCDC, I don't know who was managing it, nobody really. We took it over because we were asked to, and I remember Adrian Catron in our board meeting saying, this is not going to work because it's on Silver Stripe and it's going to crash, and it's, you know, we need to develop our own. So, but I convinced the board to take it on because I thought it was a good thing to do for council and to show that we're committed to this and we could actually build on it. And we did build on it with visuals and content. It has crashed now because it's on Silver Stripe and it's on coding that there's no tools for.
It's been moved?
No, but it's been moved. It's been moved to a new site. We've moved it to a new site now with another person, WordPress, so it's stable, and we can now build on that and make something that's really good. But we haven't got any, you know, we didn't get any funding with taking that on, so we, you know,
it needs to be done. You're absolutely right. We need to promote what we're doing, and we have some different ideas, and I mean, little things, like if you notice the Thames Business Association sticker that goes in the windows, well, the sticky's on the wrong side. So that's something we will need to change. So you have to put it outside the building and so it doesn't last for very long. So that's some of the little things that we're changing, and that will come.
It's lovely to see because the website is central to your actions and outcomes.
Absolutely.
And
if we-
strong, dedicated website's going to do a lot.
And if we have the resources, of that marketing person, who is the one who's been continuing to do little bits for us, just so you know, when we talked to her about coming to work for us in the future, if we had the funding, she had to dumb her salary down by her asking rate down by over 50%.
Yep.
And I said, well, I'm dumbing mine down, so you're going to have to dumb yours down. And if you want to do this job, that's the way it's going to be. And she was really good about it. She's excited.
She's really excited.
She is, and she has every potential to be the next CEO with some good mentoring and training. Every potential. And I've told her that. I said, if I get hit by a bus, you're going to be it. So.
Be careful, the
As long as,
I know. Started again.
as long as it's not the Thames Connector bus.
I know. They're lovely people. Anyway, we need to go because you have.
Just very quickly, I'd like to say thanks for the strategic plan. I thought the way you condensed this to 8 or 9 pages, absolutely awesome. And it says exactly what it should, in terms of your 4 goals and focus areas. And, really draws down to some great action plans and outcomes. I love that idea of, I think, Thames team.
Yes.
You might combine Thames-Coromandel, Waka and yourselves and council, and that will build from there. I think that's an awesome thing to try and get going, that productive.
Thank you very much.
Really well done.
Thanks, Drake.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Am I meant to go?
Have you finished? Thank you very much.
I was meeting you, so just me.
I am really happy candidates when you were done.
You can't remember.
So the mover and seconder first.
I'll sit.
Thank you. Conflicts of interest. Conflicts of interest. Has anyone got any conflicts of interest? Any items on the agenda, which is on.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving into the formal part of the meeting. 2.1. 2021. It's quite clear in terms of payment that their request is for $80,000, backed up by the fact that they have a performance level that they'd like to meet. In a strategic plan that you've seen, you've asked questions. I don't think there's any time in my business career here in Thames, which started in 1981, as a chartered accountant, that I've seen the opportunity that this has provided as a strong business going forward with a membership of 250 already. I've never ever seen the strength that's been put to this in such a professional way. And there's a huge opportunity for Thames in terms of bringing together business and moving forward. So, Peter, as the liaison person, has done a striking great job with work around all this. I'd like you to speak to all possible. First up, Eric, would you like to present anything further?
Through the chair, I'll take it as read, I guess, the consideration by the board is moving to the large proportion of their budget for this season.
Right. Okay, Peter, would you like to speak to the report at this point?
first of all, thank you for everybody for delaying the decision around this, because if we'd had to have this discussion a month ago or whatever it was, we would not have been hearing the sorts of things we've been hearing. It would have, yeah. So I think it's been really good, and I appreciate that. Over the last couple of months, as Stretch said, we've been working with the Thames Business Association to get through to a different place with them, and we can see that in a revised submission. I think there are four key things as why I'm keen for us to vote for this resolution. I think the first one is, and I mentioned it at the community board meeting we had last month, I'm absolutely convinced that the worst is yet to come in terms of COVID. And I've tried into Auckland on Monday, and I was just staggered. It was what I was hearing in Morning Report, in Catherine Ryan, in the panel in the afternoon, Checkpoint in the evening, about such a wide variety of people commenting about just kind of basically that the worst is yet to come from an economic point of view. I think it's been fantastic what the government has done in getting us through, but we have got some really challenging times. And when we hear of organisations like the Warehouse announcing the closure of another 6 stores, to me that's just an indicator that we need to be prepared for some bad times. What we want to have happen in our town is for our businesses to get through that. And I believe the Thames Business Association has an absolutely critical role. And I think they see that and they get that. And I think for the health of our community and the businesses in our community, they're going to play a really key part. The second thing is, and this was a major concern a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, was TVA and council seem to be on different tracks, and there's no point in us getting behind an organisation when they're on a different track to where council's going. And the things that have happened over the last 6 weeks, the way that the Thames Business Association have been listening, the fact that they had a meeting, and thank you, Aaron, for making that happen. They had a meeting with Rob and Aaron, and it was a really exciting meeting in terms of moving these two organisations to alignment. And I'm very satisfied that we're now seeing that alignment. They had a meeting last week with the economic development team in council. They've got another meeting next week with Aaron and Rob, and it's just a completely new approach from TVA to working with council, right, rather than working, somewhere else. Hey, how do we work together? And I think that's a really encouraging sign. I think the third thing I'd want to say is Sue brings something special to the Thames Business Association. She is a professional. She's strategic in the way she thinks. She's action oriented, and she's been backed by a very pragmatic and a very engaged board, as Heather talked about. And I think for them to be successful, that's a critical thing. And I think the fourth thing for me is I see this as an investment. So this is us making an investment that we are going to see a return from over the years ahead. So it's not us sort of a helping hand out. It's an investment, a strategic investment on our part, and I feel it's really valuable from that point of view. As I look through their budget and so on, it's easy to pick holes in it. You kind of say, well, do you need to do 30 grand on that? And I looked at something and think, well, couldn't they leverage the council on that? So there are things there, but hopefully as they turn those into action plans, they'll think through on it. But for me, the real risk in this plan is in the income line. The real risk is the top line. They've got some big challenges there. And so our contribution is only a contribution to that top line, right? It's not the total top line, it's only a contribution. I expect them to drive the membership up because they have to. This is the last year that they talked about in the covering letter. This is the last year, and frankly, I think it needs to be the last year. They need to develop themselves as an independent, active, vibrant organisation in this town. And I think that all those ingredients are there. And so for that reason, I believe it's absolutely the right thing for us to get behind it. I think that's all I want to say on that. And so if there's anyone who needs to move, I'd be happy to move a resolution that we support this submission and allocate the funding that they're requesting.
I'll ask the question first, it's more of a question, my time. So, and I think $80,000 is not a lot of money, but it is a huge percentage of our promotional budget. So a bit about it and handle of who else asks for money from that budget. So I don't know if we give them 90% of our budget, who is potentially going to come and say, I need that, and this can't happen because of. So Erin, do you have an idea about who else would be asking for some of that funding?
So through the chair, to date, I'm not aware of anyone else, if any other group asking for funding. However, we have used, so last year we used we only had $10,000 left, and we used that to go to the bottom of the streetscape. So I guess that the consideration the board has to have is that if you are willing to do some of those things that we discussed, around Rotary Park or those sorts of things, in the absence of any other budget, the trade-off is that there will be no.
Okay, so allocating all of 80,000 or 70 or whatever we choose isn't going to negatively impact on the heritage network or steampunk or any of the other things that happen because they currently don't ask for money.
So for the chair, they historically utilise the community grants, the community grants fund, we actually advertise it for shortly. So
no, I just needed that clarification because I wasn't sure about what the funding was. Thank you.
$30,000 of grants, we've got 25,000 as a community grant, as well as $60,000 of fund in terms of event funding and all that type of things. Promotion fund is only available for 1 more year. Full stop.
Yeah.
It's all over Red Rover. It's not in the long-term plan in the future. It's gone. Sorry.
So just in terms of the ladies that came around heritage wanting the signs and that, I would see those as something about Thames promotion, yes? Yeah. So that would be, obviously they like those things done too, so if we don't pay for that money, how do they get that? Yeah. And just the second thing is yes, around create the one, because I mean, talking about it, but nothing's happening because there's no budget. It's like, we can do it. When does it happen? How far away is it?
Well, a notice board promoting heritage things could very much be a part of the Create the Vibe, because I would imagine that would be a conversation that would be had with Hannah Rose and with Erin. It wouldn't just be, well, here's some money, go put a board up.
Oh no, that's not what I meant, but
Yeah.
what I mean is
Yeah.
that it's going to cost money to put one up.
Yes, it's not going to cost $10,000. But yeah. So there is budget. My understanding that after the 80,000.
No, because it's Thames promotion, isn't it?
Yes, there are very, like, for example, if we decided to give them the 80, the Museum Society could apply for a grant for the signage out of the grant, so it's not like they're mutually exclusive. In my mind, what I'm weighing is that this is a 3-year fund. It's about how do you. And I think my decision would have been very different 3 months ago, as you said, Peter, at the beginning.
Yes.
And I notice a change in energy, focus, etc. And I think that it's a bit like the government sector. I was for a prescription. If you really pour, whether it's $10 or $5, it doesn't really make a difference. And if we gave them 60 instead of 80, it's sort of half-pie. So to me, it's like they've got 1 more year to make this happen. I can almost guarantee that this money will not be there next year in the long-term plan because the pressures on the long-term plan don't be hideous.
That's right.
And so with the personnel and the commitment and the change in relationship here, I'm going to ask you to talk about that because it's not fair. But for them to be actually linking in with you in a different way makes me far more comfortable to say, okay, committed for a year. If they don't get the membership, well then they're going to be down the Google next year anyway.
They have some good confidence in some of the things, not strengthened, suited, work together, put in 250 members, growing. Now they're looking for the support of the business community to match what we might contribute. I think that's some of the strengths going forward.
On that, I'm just going to say, I think the enthusiasm that Rob, as the chief executive, has to see Thames Business Association succeed, and he's communicated that enthusiasm, but the onus is on them to make it succeed. But it's, it just feels right, and it's the right sort of. Sorry.
Yeah, so I support the fact that they've got, what looks like quite professional staff, or CEO, etc. And there's always that interesting point between when a group, stops being just volunteers giving up their time and effort and actually start paying people. And it was with that gymnastics, and they got out of COVID. That was just run by volunteers, and then all of a sudden they got a lot of people wanting to do it. They've started paying the tutors and the coaches to do it, and that's just really taken off. So I support that. Just the thing that sort of worries me a little bit is if we're saying next year there's no budget, well, with no grant from us. Obviously, they're still going to have costs of staff, and they've got here that that 75,000 other income for their source. That's good if it happens.
And I sort of agree with the. I agree with the let's not do half pie, but I also think there does seem to be things in there that maybe they don't have to do, but I'm in two minds as to whether we do the 80 or whether we cut it down a little bit.
Okay, well, that can be part of what we might afford, as a community board.
Yeah.
The point I would just stress there is that this is only a final opportunity for us to provide something, unless somewhere in the long-term plan something runs through, which is a different scenario altogether. But having said that, the expectation is clear in terms of TBA and their expectation relating to moving forward in terms of their revenue and funding model orientates around the fact that they'll be not dependent on this promotion fund after 1 year, but it's crucial at this point to reach that point until they get the establishment of a membership fee in place and all that sort of things, and getting support to vote on the business community. There is a risk inherent with that because we're spending taxpayers' money. The risk is the year they don't succeed. That's the risk. But having weighed all that up, I think it's a worthwhile risk. So just because of the strength in which the organisation together and the way they're moving forward with such a strong strategic plan. So I might suggest that we do put a resolution to the board.
I just want to say one more thing around this membership. So at this stage, we've got 251 members who haven't had to pay a membership fee at all. So come next year, when our membership fee is introduced,
Like this.
do you think they're going to stay? Are they going to want to pay? Have they had anything out of them that they feel that they want to give $200 to belong to this association? Because at the moment, it's signed it along because I don't have to pay. But what are they getting? What are they getting out of TPA at this moment while it's free? Because we either pay, what are they going to want?
Yeah.
So,
That's a question you should ask. Yeah, but anyway.
well, yes, and, but that's why I want to kind of put it on here now because around the funding, I'm not really wanting to fully support the whole lot.
Okay, that's a big comment.
So, you know, so it's a question.
And I think I take what Martin said too, and that is that it seems a bit back to front. Usually you get a group of people who start something out because they see a need, and then it evolves and you start getting a paid person with that, and this seems to be a bit top down for me, and that they've started it up and now they're trying to get membership and support behind them. And I'm like, Sheree, I'm not sure what the support is, you know what I mean?
You're sort of saying it would be nice if it was the other way around.
Well,
Because obviously the support was happening.
yeah, as the business people have said, we really need an association and this is what we want from them. But
Yeah, I think what you have to do, and I think your comments are valid, but you need to balance that comment with the overall view of where they're positioned and the strength of just the success, and that's why I have some confidence that they will succeed, and particularly with Sue on board, and particularly, those points that you made, Peter, about the strength that's being developed with the council now is quite outstanding. There's a lot of CEO support and strategic support of the organisation now, and that alignment you feel is very strong and substantial part of, you saying 3 months ago, you wouldn't have supported it to the same extent that you're thinking twice about maybe supporting this organisation now in terms of what's been established.
Yeah, because I can absolutely hear what you two are saying, and, you never put your prices low, however, that's what's happened, and I see a real change in the energy and so, and at the end of the day, there'll be a resolution and we'll make a decision.
Peter, do you want to move the resolution at this point and we'll vote on it, and then if it's not, if it will succeed or it won't, then we'll discuss other options.
So what's the resolution we're moving?
So are you wanting to approve 18?
At this point,
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to put that on the floor.
Yeah.
I'll second it as a,
Right. So everyone's clear on that. We put a resolution to the community board supporting the $80,000 fund from Thames Promotion Fund in terms of what's been established in this report. So may I ask those in favour? I said again, so my hands are up. There's 4 in favour, 3 against.
As they're against.
Are they against or?
Someone might not say.
I'm not against supporting them, I'm against the total fully funding.
Yes. No, that's fine. And 4 of us aren't against it, so the vote's on. Are you similar, Martin? Or?
Yeah, while I get listen carefully to what people have said, and I just think there'd be the opportunity to reduce it a little bit so that we could possibly do some of the creative vibe things, if I'm hearing what Erin's saying right about budgets and things. Because that's something that we are also quite excited about, the creative vibe, but as Jerry says, it's just like, oh, I'm not money for that. So I think even 20,000 or something would.
Well, we'll do 10,000. We'll do 10,000 available for that.
Yeah. So I guess that's when I'm not saying I don't want to give them any money, but the current resolution is just we're going to give them 80. So I'm not supporting giving them 80, but that's.
Yep, no, that's fine. And whether you want that noted in the report or I don't know. That's
So it's up to you, do you like to record your vote against?
because at the moment it's all of three, so it will pass.
Yeah, I'll report mine, but as I say, I want it noted that we're not against it, we're just not against, we're not, I'm not in favour of it.
Yeah, I'll make a note.
Thank you.
Have a move and second, so that's all done. Well done, everybody, because it's not an easy choice. As you
No,
say.
it's not.
I think it's really good that we're all behind the thing in principle, right? I understand we're differing a little bit we're differing on the quantum, but the fact that we're behind what these people are trying to do, I think is really good. I think part of the responsibility I have in this is to help keep them hold them to account for the outcomes that they put on their presentation. Because I think that was an outstanding document in terms of the way they're structured and those outcomes. We want those outcomes. And I think part of the role that I have is to maintain that.
I must say the dilemma I had was to go with the 80,000. Work for maybe a portion of the fund that matched the membership fee. So in other words, the membership fee, when you suggested this, Peter, the membership fee was $50,000 and we'll match it. And there will be some sort of incentive relating to getting their membership fee up to 80,000 and then it will be available.
If I could just speak to that, because I had a conversation with Heather.
Sorry, she's just asking about membership fee.
I had a conversation with Heather and said that yesterday, just saying to her, look, I think your proposition is really good. Why would you only go to your members with a $200 fee rather than a $300 fee? And actually, if you were approaching 400 members rather than 250 members, that would lift that membership thing. And I said, I think that you need to get that focus because it would mean a lot more to us in the community board if we could see that, and the results from that, our $80,000 is ending up being matched or exceeded by your membership rather than $50,000.
That's right.
And she said, oh, look, that's a really good point. I'll take that on board. And I'd like to think that in the ongoing dialogue we have, that we actually begin to see that sort of thing. And when we have our regular member updates, I'd like to be able to sort of say, hey, well, this is what's happening. This is how all these things are tracking. But we do have to hold them to account, I think, for this $80,000. It's not, from my point of view, it's not $80,000 we send there and then, okay, we're turning our eyes to the next thing. I think we need to be responsible and ensure that they're held to account.
Well, do you want to tag that with any notes in terms of just ensuring that we've something here, I don't know whether we can suggest anything. Sort of says, I know we haven't put a rider on the $80,000 fee. There's four of us, we're confident about what we've done, but the good thing about what's happened here is that we've worked with some strength in terms of agreeing with the whole concept and principle. There's just been some, and I've debated that same dilemma that Martin and Cheryl and Sheree have had in terms of the full $80,000 and that's been the debate over the last 3 months in terms of how things will move forward for me to give that confidence that this is what is required to really get this TVA up and running for Thames, which has been a struggle for 30 years. That's my sort of views on it. But I like the way that everybody has responded in that sense, principle, and that's great. And it's the concrete thing that's on the floor for us in terms of the information at the moment. There's no other concrete all of that fund, and it was always designed to actually try and follow the TVA through the 3-year period. So, I'll leave it at that.
So, can I, just in terms of the TVA, in the last meeting that we had, where they requested the discretionary fund, the balance of the discretionary fund. So now that we're putting the names down, would we just say, no, you can't have that?
For the cameras.
Yeah, they requested the $6,000 odd of discretionary fund that we had, so.
So it's been a chair.
Same item.
So it's been a chair that decided to do that.
Yeah.
Agenda, so it will come back to you. In terms of your previous question around creative by the only other option you have is potentially to combine. But you can use your discretionary funding if you want to use about 20,000, and you could combine that with the Thames motion budget and go, actually, we've got $30,000 here, and we actually want to use that this year for something. So that may be something that the board wishes to consider as a way of making sure that the board is comfortable that maybe both kind of areas are being considered, that that's something I can meet with you. Obviously, it's political decision making.
So also, if CCTV cameras are such a priority, which I believe they are.
It's
There's
not.
no, well, yeah, the number recognition cameras over into town. If they're such a priority, then it should really go into a long-term plan. You know, if in fact, you know, other aspects happen, I mean, there is an opportunity there to put it in.
Just for potentially really great, criteria,
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think it behoves us to think about, you know, having that being a successful thing for our town. In terms of security of our town, I think it's a really important thing. But
I just think, in terms of the ANPR and the fact that the TBA want to install them in that maybe they should be looking to the business to help them put them in. And then, you know, at this point, I think that they talk about how we've had issues with smash and grab and cars driving through windows and all that type of thing. So they've got 250 members there. Why don't they take each one of them and say, what kind of ANPR?
So I'm absolutely with you, Shirley. I think if that came back, I think I would struggle to approve that, because I think there are lots of other areas that they can go. I mean, in the money they've got so far, there's nothing from the police.
No.
And surely the police would have to think, hey, this is worth throwing 10 grand.
Can I just comment on that? The name recognition cameras, I've already looked down, are a police, more a police initiative for the community versus Saint Street. Well, that's my understanding. It is for business security, and I think the businesses need to be involved in putting up their own security cameras around their own shops, and not expecting the ratepayer to, you know, forget that. That's a business decision.
Yeah.
The name recognition takes a more community decision, so that's where I'm coming from. Just to draw that distinction. I might be right or wrong, I just, you know, that's how I see it.
And if they became a charitable trust, well, then that's the kind of thing, if they didn't have any philosophical things against pub charities, you can put in an application for up camera, etc. And so, yeah, there are, I think this charitable status is actually quite empowering for opportunities. There are streams of money for, you know, public safety and things.
And I mean, it's, I think, right, you know, up the valley, you know, if we want to paint the fence for the hall, you know, we just go to the people who live up the valley and say, hey, chip in $10 to paint it. You know, it's a similar thing. I'm absolutely with you.
I'm just waiting for the discussion on the shop. So, thank you very much, everyone. And close the meeting.
No, can we just close the meeting and
Close the meeting.
out?